Why being Christian feels weird in modern gaming culture. To be honest, it's a bit weird when you've recently come into faith and you come from a background where you've been playing games your whole entire life, basically. And you start kind of realizing these games are low key kind of encouraging me to crash out a bit. Like, it's actually insane when you really think about it. Like Call of Duty, for example, right? You're just basically running around. It's basically like a chicken shooter game. That's what I like to call it. I mean, you're like a chicken with its head chopped off. I mean, you can catch that, right? You can understand what I mean by that if you played the game before. But it rewards annihilating people. I'm trying not to get killed by the YouTube algorithm. I'm gonna keep it above 50. But you're trying, like, they reward you for getting kills, basically. You get rewarded, you get all these plaques, you get not plaques, you get like these barracks, is that what they're called? Man, I feel like an old man. You get these player cards, you get like upgrades to your weapon, you get camo, you get rewarded basically for making kills, and they try to make it as addicting as possible. And when you look at most of the games on the market, they involve some killing. I'm not gonna lie. Even like the child friendly ones, you be seeing some crazy stuff. I'm not gonna lie. And so it kind of puts me and other people in a predicament where you're like, I love these games, but am I a bad person for liking it? Well, first, before I even give you an answer, I've just recently come into faith and I'm still trying to find my way. And there's still things that I'm doing that's kind of like, but I'm getting better and better each and every day. And hoping and praying that the light just gets lighter and lighter. But when you really start looking at it with my mindset, um, I'm not a priest. I do not know the Bible like that. Like your boy's still on Genesis. I'm still kind of fairly new-ish, sort of. But when it comes to scriptures, when it comes to all sorts of things that relate towards Christianity, I am not your go-to, okay? But this is just coming from my personal opinion from somebody that's just recently converted. And one thing I can say is that it weighs on your mind, and you shouldn't really be doing things that, or at least in my opinion, you shouldn't be doing things that inspire negativity. Of course, at the end of the day, it is entertainment, right? But you are getting entertainment from people suffering. So it's kind of one of those things where you have to be very, very careful what you let inside of your mind, or at least, careful in the things you see, because it really deeply affects you. Like one example is like hip hop music. Like I can tell the difference between listening to hip hop music and the negative energy that it provides me. And I can tell the difference between a song that's very happy and very joyful and you get the positivity from it. It's kind of like that. It's like if you're going to be consuming this content, and it's just be very, very careful. That's what I want to say. That's what I'm going to say, because from what I've seen and the things I've read, it can be very taxing on your spirituality. It can be very taxing on your mindset, because that stuff stays with you. And if you keep consuming it, if you keep what you would call it, offing people in a certain video game, over time it can weigh on you. And that's where you're gonna have to be really strong-willed to make sure it doesn't affect your thinking. Like a good example, like rap music, right? I used to listen to a ton of it. I still kind of listen to it now and then, but nothing too crazy intense. I'm still trying to wean off of it, because honestly, it does affect the way you think. If you constantly keep hearing a rapper talking about screwing your girl, getting diamonds, going to clubs, hitting licks, and doing terrible stuff, that's going to weigh in your mind, and you're kind of going to start thinking, okay, I want to do that. Or at least it's going to put you in a negative mindset. Okay. So just be very, very careful about what you consume, because this stuff is very, very, very contagious. And even the shows, it's very, very contagious. And be very, very mindful about what you take and what you don't take from the media that you consume. And people don't think it's not a big deal. Guy's head just got chopped off. You just saw a guy's head get chopped off, and if you keep seeing that over and over and over again, you're gonna become very, very, what's that word, used to it, when it's something that's very horrific, and it could lead down to potentially awful things. That I can admit. That I can see even happening. Some people to lesser degrees, or even higher degrees, or even no degrees at all. But at the end of the day, my main message is just to be very careful about the content that you consume and the main idea of it. Okay, I'm not saying not to play games in general. Like, shoot, GTA 6, I'm sorry, but I finna cop that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to turn off my brain. I'm sorry. I've been waiting for this game for so long. Oh, and then it's just a very bad game in general because you're literally robbing people. You're committing Sudoku to other individuals. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but and you're doing just heinous crimes. You're going to these clubs and stuff, and you see the physics, and then it's kind of like, damn. It's like the worst things you can possibly do is put into like this video game or like a simulation of it, and it you have to be careful, like I said before, about the media that you consume. And one thing I can say is that main pop culture does not cater towards people of religion. I mean, there are TV shows and movies that aren't intense, right? But you look at the internet, you look at what's being shown, you look at the ideas and really, not I'm gonna say schlop, but yeah, kind of schlop. But the bad values that general media teaches is actually pretty insane. I mean, you look at romance novels, you look at romance movies, they promote very, very bad ideas towards women, and that's cheating on their partners. Like take the Notebook for example. Oh my goodness gracious! So this random dude comes up on a Ferris wheel, professes his love towards this woman who's on a date, ends up cheating on him with that. In does he or did she get with a different guy? I don't know. But the whole gist of it is that she ends up cheating on her partner with this random guy that's come out of nowhere. I think she was getting married or just about to get married. But kind of stuff like that with ideals where they treat cheating as okay. Because she ends up I think getting him with him or something. There's just something that happens, but she ends up cheating on her partner with him, basically. And there's a lot of stories that go over that and that touch upon that. And if you look in the romance female dating space, it's bad. Like it's low key kind of cooked. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. And then another thing I want to touch upon is like the horror movies. I love horror movies, and it's not a good thing either. Because some of the horror movies that are being released nowadays is honestly, I feel like it's like a satanic ritual. Just watching some of the stuff is just low key, just very, very bad to even be in the presence of. I mean, we all like it's like a double edged sword, really, and honestly. And when converting into faith, I slowly realized how squeamish I get because you really start thinking about other people's feelings and other people's emotions that go through that. It's kind of like a weird, not empath. Is that called empath? When you put yourself in another person's shoes and you feel what they feel. I forgot the name of it, but when you come into faith and you really start getting into it, you start feeling that by other people, and then like in video games or even in these horror movies, you see bad things happen to people, even good people sometimes, and you just feel so bad about it. Even bad people as well. You still feel kind of bad about it. It's like, damn, this guy's head's getting chopped off, and then there's a ritual being performed right in front of him. God dang, like God, you can't even catch a break. Oh my goodness, I gotta stop using the Lord's name in vain. That's one thing I gotta stop doing. Look, sometimes I low key, it's just a force of habit. I gotta stop that, but yeah, it's bad. And like I said before, the main message of it, just be very careful about what you consume. And if it gets to a point where it's affecting your thoughts, you got to be very, very self conscious about your actions as well. If you're doing things that are just kind of out of normal, like that could be kind of negative, kind of bad, where you get like a second gut feeling where it's like, okay, I probably shouldn't be doing this. Then maybe you have to reevaluate what kind of content you consume because this stuff, it affects you like spiritually, emotionally. It stays with you even if you realize it or not. It's very important. And a lot of people sometimes disregard that and they get into these like negative depressions or this negativity that just surrounds them. And you look at their, the content that they view, the stuff that they view, and it's just stuff that makes them feel bad, like negative stuff. But one thing I can say is when you start looking at the positivity and you start consuming positive content, like stuff that really makes you think, be happy, really show you the beauty of the world, you kind of start changing little by little. And it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. But what I mean to say is that the gaming culture nowadays is kind of cooked, especially if you're a Christian. But just be very, very careful about which games you play. Just be sure you're very, very careful about what content you consume. Always be thinking, is this affecting me negatively? If I keep consuming this content, will I remain the same? Will I not? Again, I'm not a preacher. I don't know the intricates of a Bible. I'm going to be as transparent with you guys as possible. This is also my journey into being more religious and just more understanding of the Bible and just really embracing myself further in. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna try to post every single day or so. If there'll probably be some days where I miss, probably. But hope you guys enjoy. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm gonna see y'all.